and Bradley for taking on the diplomacy game. I think that's going to be a really good bridge building exercise. I want to praise Angela for adding to the slides today. Thank you, Angela. I'm so excited to see the TEC Academy here. I want to praise, of course, Livia and Tam for the amazing speaking opportunities that they gave in ETH Denver. And I want to praise Chewy for throwing on this conference at the Taoist. It's a lot of work. He's connected, giveth a lot, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities to present collaborative economics to the Taoist, so that's super cool. And with that, I'll pass it to Vi.
I'd like to praise HZ, without whom our source configuration would not have been completed. I'd like to praise Christopher for all the great work for doing the PM work on the reward system. I'd like to praise Gideon for all the interesting work that Gideon has recently started doing. And I'd just like to praise Tam for being an awesome, Tam and Graf for being awesome students. And that's it. I think that's my time.
Oh no, it's the ring of the town hall. You still had 9 seconds. Sorry for that.
Oh, whoops. I'd like to praise Nebs for all the great front-end work on the place. I'd also like to praise Wonka for all the great work they do with Gravity, and Sherry for comms and being so supported, and Angela for reaching out for getting praise on the TE Academy. That would be great. And that's it. I'd like to pass to Benz.
Hey, thanks. I'd like to praise Nate's for pushing the advice process, making that kind of normalizing that at the beginning of the meetings. Yanese for reaching out and kind of getting us back on track on our metrics meeting and setting up a weekly touch point, and Gideon for coordinating a writers meeting. And I think I put everything else in the channel. So I'll pass to Wonka.
Thanks, Bent. Yeah, I would like to praise Lynn and Jeremy for leading the Graviton practice groups around liberating structures and deep democracy. I would like to praise Griff for his leadership in all these organizations. I would like to praise Livy and Tam for being back, Septi for being so consistent, and also Bianca for presenting an implementation of psychology in Web3 research, and Edu and Nate for the time that we had last week's carrying this community, and also praise Jonks for being here in this call. And yeah, that's it. I will pass to Tam.
Cool. So I want to praise Nate for joining me as a co-steward of the Stewards Working Group, and just the exceptional work that he does, and the way he carried the flag these last 2 weeks for the Stewards Working Group while so many stewards were in ETH Denver. Gideon for big vision thinking and having so much enthusiasm and insight for how to develop our community and community's personal development. Durgadas for honing in on the idea that has stuck with me for weeks now around how new people in our community might not yet feel they have the agency to participate in permissionless work, and thinking about how we can help encourage that. Eduardo for leading the orientation call, which is the highlight of my week every week. Zeptimus, you're so reliable, genuine, and consistent, and that with me so much. I have some more, but I'll drop them in the praise channel. And I'll pass to Mert.
Okay. So thank you so much. I would like to praise Chewy for the help to get me on board to Daoist Mexico. I would like to praise Solcista for helping us to find out the best working style for the Omega. I would like to praise Satori for participating heavily into Omega discussions. And my praises are today shorthand. Sorry. So I would like to pass it on Mario Rosa.
Mario, are you there?
Mario? Looks like you unmuted, but the sound isn't working right. So let's pass it over to, let's see, how about Yonks?
Thank you, Griff. I would like to praise Jeremy for facilitating the Graviton practice groups, and I would like to thank praise Juan for the leadership that he's providing to Gravity DAO, and I would like to praise Benz, who is also participating in the Graviton practice groups or whatever they were. And with that note, I will kick it over to Benz.
Oh, nice. Ben's actually went early. You just missed him. But how about let's throw it to Angela.
Sorry, mic button. Okay, I'd like to praise Tamara for our first chat after Eve. It's always worth taking the time, and we always find threads to pick up with TE Commons and TE Academy. I'd like to praise Livy for being an awesome mentor at DAO Reward Systems. I'd like to praise Eduardo for sharing his wisdom on onboarding with us. I'd like to praise Y for supporting us with the TE Discord. Thank you. I'd like to praise Angie from the team for supporting us in marketing, and Patty for speaking this week at the Daoist Mexico City. And who hasn't spoken? Griff, I've lost the overview, I guess.
No worries, no worries. I can dish it. I can pass it for you. How about Craig? Good to see you, Craig.
Griff, same to you. Man, I am unprepared as per usual, so I'll wing it. Let's see. I'll dish praise to all the people that gave talks at ETH Denver. That would be Tam, Angela, Griff, Lauren, Livy, Heater. There may be others, and I'll praise them as well. And I'll leave it there and go back to you, Griff.
I can take it. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Craig, for allowing me to butt in there gracefully. I would like to praise Chewy for doing so much organization around the Taoist Mexico and just getting a bunch of token engineering representation on there as well. I want to praise Livia for just having such a soft, warm heart and always creating the space for mental health and for communication. I want to praise Tam for leading such a great Stewards call, being such a great steward leader hero. And I want to praise Heather for holding down all the hiring, for Giveth, for the TC, for the Common Stack. So many people were sent her way through ETH Denver, and she just takes them all so gracefully with such a great big smile. And I want to praise everybody who was at ETH Denver, shilling the TEC and representing, and especially for Griff and Tam and Livia for giving awesome talks. And I'll pass it to Nate.
Thanks, Lauren. Yeah, so I'll keep it quick. I want to praise Edu for making our onboarding call so successful. I want to praise Tam for continuously being a source of inspiration to me. Want to praise Mert for working on the reward system. For all the work that he does in the Omega Working Group and all the initiatives. I want to praise Mario Doza for working on the reward system, animation, and video. I want to praise Griff for being a leader in the public good space. Praise Wonka for being able to frame all of our conflicts in a really constructive way. I really think that's really awesome. I want to praise Benz for stepping up and being a big part of this community. And I want to praise Zepti for the energy, leadership, and support you bring to the community every single day. So thank you for that. And I'll pass it over to, I'm going to roll the dice and say Yonks.
Sorry, no, Yonks already went. But I can throw. It was a good try. How about Edu?
Good. Yes, I want to just praise today to Mert because I love the way you have grown into the community and the way you have sort of made yourself here. I want to dish praise to Angela for joining here today. I want to dish praise to Nate for all the efforts on last week's covering for all of us and for the stewards. And I want to dish praise to myself because I lost last week the voice. So I'm here again. And I will pass it on to Hanners.
Hello. Yes. I want to praise Maria for helping organize ETH Rio. I want to praise Tam for being available to do peer interviews for our fundraiser role that's opening. And then I also want to praise Lauren for organizing the Taoist party in Mexico City and ensuring that our community is fun and accessible for everyone. I want to praise Griff for being very devoted and diligent about his speaking opportunities, both last week at ETH Denver and this upcoming weekend. And I would like to praise there was somebody else. I wrote it down. Well, I will also praise at Wonk Bell because we did some gravity training role position editing together a while ago, and it was a really fun and enjoyable experience. And I will pass it on to people who haven't done it yet. I'm not sure who.
We can throw it to Livia.
Thank you. I want to praise Chewy for being such an inclusive leader to comms. Praise Lauren and Griff for holding the public goods flag in Denver so well. Praise Christopher for his outstanding coordination work with the reward systems. Praise Angela, Patty, YGG, Octopus, Heather, Peter, and Mike for the incredible 3 months of research group. I learned so much with all of you. I praise Griff and Tam for the work sessions we had in Denver that felt so energizing. Praise NT for organizing the SourceCred param session, and S. Ben from SourceCred for advising our param settings. Praise Nate, Ben, Septimus, Edu, Juanca for taking leadership in SoftGov these past few weeks, and Nate for brainstorming how to educate the community about advice process and bureaucracy. And I'll pass to... was I the last one?
No, not quite. But I'll pass it for you to Mario. You want to give it a try, Mario? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Thank you, Griff. Yes, I want to praise Juanca for all the work he's doing with me beside the meetings, explaining to me how a lot of things inside the community and a lot of things about the tools we are using works. So thank you for that. And also want to praise Nate for all the interest and help he's putting on the rewards system tutorial, the script and video. Also, I want to praise Acid Laser for keeping the energy to maintain all the duties we have in the animation team right on a schedule. And I'm back to you, Griff. Thank you.
Nice. And I think Zeptimus is our last one.
Thank you, Griff. Yeah, I want to dispraise to Ivy, Tam, Griff, and Juan for answering all my questions when I have one. I want to dispraise to Lauren for helping with the DAO Diplomacy registration doc. I want to dispraise to Nate for pushing with the education on duocracy. I want to dispraise to Acid Laser and Chewy for the weekly work on Twitter. I want to dispraise to Libby for keeping the community grounding and double check on things that involve our culture. And I want to dispraise to Mitch for being our DAO master. And yeah, I'll pass it to you, Griff.
Yeah, I saw just heard someone slide in. Who is it? Oh, Helixi. So I don't know if you know this, but we dish praise at the beginning of every call. So if there's anyone that you would like to express gratitude in our community or outside our community, you have a moment to speak about it.
What a warm welcome. Can I thank you, Griff?
Yeah.
Thanks. Well, yeah, that's a surprising welcome. I thought I was just going to come in here and lurk, but I'm glad to be able to have the space to be able to announce myself and give some praise. Hallelujah.
Nice. Well, thanks, Alexi. And actually, Jody just rolled in too. Jody from GetCoin. Nice to meet you, Jody. We do this thing at the beginning of the call where we dish praise So you can just praise, you can say praise anyone who helped you learn about the TEC or anyone, anything that you want.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you great.
Okay, great. I sat in on a TEC call for the Codeless Conduct hackathon last week. So praising, I can't remember his name, but the TEC colleague that taught me about your organization. Happy to be here.
Thanks, Jody. Then let's get this party started. Let's see. Welcome to Community Call number 72. It's going to be a good one. It looks like I have a little bit of extra space here. So, of course, you just got to witness some praise. Praise is something, a culture of gratitude that we like to exude in the TEC. And what's really cool is the praise actually turns into TEC tokens. And it's really cool. You can dish praise in these calls, but you can also dish praise in Discord, !praise. Soon to be, I think it's /praise. But maybe next week, so I'm sure that'll come up eventually. But dish praise anytime you see somebody doing something good that you want to encourage, or something that if you want to sing out someone's praises. You can do it anytime in the Discord. Also, we like to start our calls with some smiles. We like to take screenshots of these calls and get people saying with a big smile. So you can turn on your cameras and put on a smile while I read off the vision. So the vision's really short, so you better turn the cameras on fast. Our vision in the TEC is to enable the creation of ethical, safe, resilient, and diverse economic systems to benefit societies around the world. This is what we're trying to create, and thank you for jumping in and helping us on that path. Okay, cameras, big smiles, and cameras can go away. It's cool. You can go back to being a non. Okay, so a couple ways that we keep a happy, lovey-dovey culture is that if you ever see any conflicts or you feel like you are in a conflict, you can talk to any of the active gravitons over on Discord. There's a list of active gravitons. You can DM them anytime you feel a frustration, or if you see someone else feeling frustration and you want to bring some support in early before it gets too explosive. You can DM any active gravitons, or if you want to make it anonymous, or you just don't want to have an engaging conversation about it, there's this type form that is linked in the slides here. So you can fill out this type form and tell us about the conflict. Another thing that's really important in the culture of the TEC is to use advice process. So anytime you have to make a big decision, before the decision is final, you want to talk to the people who will be affected by the decision and the people who you believe have expertise on the topic. If you do that and get the understanding of those two groups, then your decision will be informed and with any kind of issues that may come up before you present it to the community. And during that advice process, once the advice process is over, then you can propose votes. So we have 4 active votes right now in conviction voting. The first is to fund Gravity, a 6-month funding for Gravity. It's a $51,000 wrapped XDAI proposal. It has 10.6. It needs 51,000 more tokens to support it before it can pass, and then it'll still take some time to pass once it has that. But if you want to support Gravity, that's an option. The comms team DAO to support the TE Academy. It will pass in 6 days. It doesn't need any more tokens to pass, but if you do put tokens on this vote, then it will pass faster. This is how conviction voting works. It's kind of cool. So it's like a signal aggregation voting method. If you want to see the TE Academy get comms support from the TEC, throw your tokens on that bad boy. And also we have, to increase inclusion in the token engineering space, we have the translations team. That proposal needs 41,000 more TEC before it can pass. And even then it will take some time after it receives that. Of course, the more tokens it gets, the faster it'll pass. And there was just I made a proposal for T-Wells for retroactive funding for the TEC Spotlight video for 1,000 wrapped XDAI. and it needs about 48,000 tokens to pass. So that's the conviction voting landscape. Don't be afraid to get out there and signal your support for those proposals. And also there is a DAO voting proposal, and you'll see this proposal every 2 weeks. We will be trying to vote to reduce the spread of the entry and exit tributes. So right now, anytime someone buys TEC tokens through our bonding curve, they send 20% extra to the common pool, and 80% of their funds go into minting TEC tokens. And anytime someone sells TEC tokens, currently 3% of the funds that when they burn their tokens in the bonding curve, 3% of those funds are sent to the common pool to advance token engineering. We're trying to reduce those spreads, increasing the exit tribute 1%. So when people burn their tokens, if this proposal passes, 4% of the money that is released from the bonding curve will go to the common pool. And if this proposal passes, then we're reducing the entry cost from 20% to 18% to mint tokens. It has 4 days left in the vote, and it needs another 3.75% of token holders to pass it. That's about, I don't know what that is. It's 2.5 times 3%, something like that. So maybe 100,000 more votes, 100,000 more tokens to meet quorum. Wow, that was a lot. With that, I'll pass it to Tam, to the Steward of Stewards, to tell us about what's going on in the community.
Cool. Awesome. So today is the end of Sprint 29, which means a few things. If you click on this link here, it will take you the Sprint board link. It'll take you to the Sprint board that we have in ZenHub with sort of GitHub as the underlying repository. And as you can see, we are all ready to start our sprint planning tomorrow. It is completely empty, and tomorrow the stewards and any other community member that wants to join will start to fill these sprint pipeline with issues that we want to do over the next 2 weeks. We have a bunch of working group calls. Just want to reiterate that everyone is invited to join. You don't actually have to be a steward to join. And of course, there's the YouTube archive if you want to sort of go back and see what we have been up to. Every Wednesday, there is the Stewards Weekly. Every other Thursday is either the Stewards Council, which is a discussion group about a key theme that's happening in the TEC. And the following Thursday is a retrospective. So those go back and forth. Today, we did our retrospective. And then every other Friday is our sprint planning. So if I go to the next slide now, I want to welcome Nate as a co-steward of the Stewards Working Group. It's really amazing that just the way that he's stepped up and has been able to create so much value for the stewards and the TEC. So thanks, Nate, for joining me as a steward in this working group. And then we have a huge milestone. The funding passed, of course, for the stewards working group. And this next few days, we're in the process of doing the first ever compensation distribution for the stewards working group. So that feels really big. I think by the time this call happens next week, it'll be completed. And I want to share what we brought out in the retrospective. As usual, we have 3 boards and we talk about what went well. So things that we can celebrate and things that we are proud of, things that we did personally or in our working group, in our community. And then some things that didn't go well that we should pay some attention to and see how we can ameliorate and or fix these things, and finally actions to improve. And this sprint, we came up with 2 actions that we're going to discuss on our sprint planning tomorrow. One is to address voting with conviction, like conviction voting and passing and how to rally votes and some ideas that we can have. One of them is create a gardens party so that there's a place where people can come and discuss the votes that are up on conviction voting. And the other is identifying key points of the cultural build that we need to communicate to each new member. I think it's important for us to remember that our culture feels very familiar to those of us who have been here for a year, but people coming in brand new may not, could probably use some help and guidance along that line. And so for the rest of the update from Stewards, I'm going to pass to Nate.
Thanks, Tam. That's awesome. Yeah, so what's on the steward's mind this week? So we had a long temperature check-in this past weekly, and it was really positive vibes. We enjoyed everything, talked about the community and what we were up to. There's party and orientation every week. If you're a newcomer, this is the best place to come for new information, how to get involved in the working groups. Come and check that out. Also, just to review back onto the gardens and towel votes that Griff just went over. These are very important. If you have TEC tokens, put them to use. Participation is on you, the individual, and we want you to engage with this community. So if you have those TEC tokens, go put a back a proposal, and if not, engage on the forum why you don't think so. So updates on the rewards progress. We have our first implementation of our rewards praise quantification on Monday, I believe it is. And we're excited about that. So if you're interested in being a praise quant or interested in understanding how the process works, come and join that. It's going to be open to everyone. Raised requests for wallet change. This is something that we've been going over for a while now and making sure that we prioritize, accommodating users for their wallet change requests, and that we understand mistakes happen and we want to be adaptable to that. Diplomacy game invitation. This is a huge thing that Zepti is pushing forward, and we're exploring the idea of it. So if you're interested in that diplomacy game, reach out to Zepti and he'll have more information for you. Another update is the TEA and TEC. We have an intro to token engineering every month. The next one is going to be on March 9th at 8 a.m. UTC. This is going to be led from the TEC perspective by Edu. And of course, Angela is going to have Peter, I believe, is going to be there for the rest of representing the Token Engineering Academy. And also the public service announcement. Twitter retweets equal love. Retweet everything you can. So with that being said, I will pass it over to Wonka and the Gravity Working Group.
Thanks, Nate. Well, we don't want DAOs to continue repeating the same violent practices we see in our current systems. That's why it's so important to work on competence to manage conflict. Conflict is normal to every organization, and we are trying to promote awareness that having this training and also people that are visible points of access for conflict management is a critical piece for infrastructure in DAOs. And we have been working over a year, and we have a proposal in the gardens. Right now, we are on Tuesdays. We are having 3 calls a week, and on Tuesdays we are having a practice group where we are exploring deep democracy and liberating structures tools with Lynn and Jeremy. On Wednesdays, we have a coordination call, and each other Wednesday, we will be talking about psychology in Web3. And soon, I think in March 10, we will start a book club. I think the book we will be reading is called Leadership, New Science by Margaret Whitley, and the subtitle is Discovering Order in Chaos. So we are trying to bring these trainings and this education for everyone in the space, and for DAOs to be able to manage the conflict that they create, and not because they are doing something wrong, but because it's normal that we have conflict. We are also thinking on including a more psychological aspect, so that you can contact us not only if you have a conflict with other people, but if you have a conflict, a personal conflict, you can have also someone close to you that can hear you and help you. And I would say that also we have a Gitcoin grant, and as Griff is showing, and we are very excited to do what we are doing. Also, the next Graviton training, that is the training where we certify people to actually participate in mediations or become that point of access in the community, is going to be in mid or late April. So stay tuned, and if you want to increase your competence managing conflict of your own or supporting others, please, you are invited to join. And the next slide is the list of all the people who has passed the 2 Graviton trainings we have done. The third one is going to be in April, so if you want to be in this list, please join. And all the people who is in this list is able to participate in the bounties we will be creating once the proposal passes. So thanks everyone, and I will pass to Softcode.
Thank you, Wonka. I wasn't present in the last 3 weeks of the SoftGov call, so I want to give major gratitude, praise for Nate, Benz, Zeptimus, Juanca, Edu that facilitated the calls, and everyone else who also joined. And I watched some of the recordings, and I see that the work was done mostly on governance and advice process. So I just wanted to reiterate on that and on how important it is for us to educate the community on advice process and the governance we have going on in the TEC. So I'll just go over this. Let me share my screen. Or can you go to the next slide, Griff, please? Yeah, so as Griff was saying, advice process is a practice of asking people who have expertise about the proposal you're wanting to take on. So if you're going to do anything, either asking the people who will be affected by it or asking the people who have something to say about the work you're doing. And we have divided in the TEC advice process in this 3 sessions. So there's the small impact, medium impact, and large impact. And there's not so much a difference on how you do things, but just understanding like who is going to be affected by this. If not so many people, maybe you can just ask for someone that you know would have an answer that can help you move forward with your proposal. And if it's something more relevant to a working group, you can bring your question to the working group and discuss with the people there in a call or in the chat. And this really helps duocracy. So we always say that everyone is welcome to take agency in the TEC. So if you join, even if this is your first day and you see something that you're passionate about, that you want to collaborate with, you're super welcome to do so. And sometimes just jumping into a working group and sharing your ideas is a good step to start developing what you want. And then if the decision you want to take is of a large impact, so maybe it's a financial decision, maybe it's something that it will change a cultural agreement that we have, or that you want to like change your wallet, for example, that needs an on-chain action to happen, then we recommend to go in the forum. So I'll just share my screen quick. You go in the forum and there is a section here called advice process. It's very on top. So you can just click here and create a new topic. And then here you can write what is that you're thinking, what is your issue, what do you want to do, how do you think this will impact the community, and you can wait for people to reply to your proposal, to give advice, and then incorporating that is important before moving to the next step. So yeah, this is our advice process, and we'll continue to dig more into governance in the future calls. And also today, just briefly touching on that, we talked about the importance of sharing more what is the cultural build with newcomers. So what are the key points of cultural build? What everyone that is joining us today needs to know about our cultural practices. So in the next SoftGov meeting, we'll be looking more into this and on how we can educate community members about democracy, about having agency, about our governance, and about our cultural practices. And with that, I'll pass to Communitas.
Thank you, thank you, Libby. And I also want to welcome a few folks here that I have never seen before. Matt, Jody, Mr. TDUES, and welcoming back to Pythagorean and Guyan. Nice to see you here on the community call. Basically, for all this who probably maybe you are new to the community, the Communitas working group hosts orientation call every Wednesday, 6 p.m. CET. And if for some reason it doesn't match your calendar, you can send me a DM or to Maumanu, who is also a guide, and we can provide you a one-on-one so you can get the same orientation and on a personal level about the TEC and anything else you may have questions about. Besides that, we have two other calls. We have the call for coordination that happens on Monday, the working group coordination call happens on Monday, 8 p.m. CET. And then we also host with Juanca the TEC Lounge on Fridays, 4 p.m. We are trying to see, find ways to change the TEC Lounge to something more exciting so people can join more. So look forward for changes to the session on Friday. In the meantime, it's a safe space. TEC Lounge is a safe space for everyone who want to talk about things that are not related to work. What did you see this weekend? What are you gonna do this weekend? What movie did you watch this week? And things like that. We share and we just engage in a human level. Besides that, we have reached 1,900 members in Discord. We are very close to 2K members in our community. So thanks to everyone who has been part of this journey. This month of February is the first month that the working group funding is alive. So we created under a thread under Communitas text channel the request for funding for the contributors under over the Communitas working group channel. So basically, we want everything to be transparent, so you can see who is requesting and what based on what. If you want to take a look at that. Also, we are providing and giving a huge praise to Gideon, who is helping us with the user journey. So basically, after you get onboarded, what happens and what's the follow-up that we need to do for you, and what are the steps that we need to take in order to improve our user flow in the DEC. And Gideon is taking on this massive piece of work, so huge praise to him on that. Besides that, we also help coordinating with YGG, a potential partnership for TEC Labs and ROMDAO. So we are looking forward to understanding a little bit about token economics in gamifying systems. It's a little bit of the tone of that potential collaborations. And then we also help with onboarding with T Academy. We will probably be providing more support on that end. So thank you, Angela, for the space and the support on that. Besides that, if you guys have any question that you think was not answered in the orientation call to the folks who has joined, if you think the TC Lounge could be improved as a game night or as a poker night, any idea that you may have regarding questions or the TC Lounge, please send us a DM. Our DMs are open. Mine are, most of the stewards are open, and we are more than welcome to welcome you if you allow us to do so. So looking forward to see you all. And I will pass it on to Solcista for Omega.
Thank you, Edu. So, Griff, if you can move to the next slide. Basically, we meet every Wednesday, yes, at 8 p.m. CT, and the past sessions have been on working style discovery, because as some of you may know, a working group Omega is a space where we want token engineering ethics to emerge in participatory action. So it's quite complex, not to say chaotic. So really letting that go in an improv style for the past 10 months helped us actually to create a space where we are in this chaotic environment or creative chaos, and moving complex. And that was exactly what we wanted to figure out. Like, we know how to deal with complicated systems as engineers, right? We have our token engineering tool belt, but most of the time, the landscape is not that even. So how do we move from these different planes, from complicated to clear, from complex to complicated, by really getting comfortable with not just one style for all, but really figuring out new ways, new practices that can help us move in this complex dynamic systems that aren't just code, but very humanly. So token engineering Omega, it becomes clear it's really about strengthening the inner game of token engineering, or of a token engineer, and we're going to continue next Wednesday at 8 p.m. CT. You're welcome. I think you can still catch on some things, but definitely hope everyone from the regular participants will continue. We will get into this, looking into different ways of enabling values to flow. And one direction is this dynamic energy budget, which resonates quite well with the group. And that might be also interesting for token engineering at large, yes. So thank you. And with that, I give it to Tech Labs. Sean is not here.
I'm
Yes,
here.
he is. Perfect.
Thank
Hey,
you,
hey.
Solsista. Very exciting updates. I like your emphasis on play and dance. I think that's really important. I've been thinking about that a lot in the space. Lately, there's a great AI researcher, Kenneth O'Stanley, and I like to quote him. He says, "Instead of focusing on making progress, focus on building playgrounds." And I think that's really important with what we're doing here. So I'll just share my screen real quick. Actually, don't need to go slideshow. Okay, so Tech Labs, yeah. So praise Metaverde for completing the Solidity Lab series. That was really exciting. About a 3-month series. Metaverde walked through all sorts of resources like ETH build and the zombies game and all sorts of fun stuff. I've heard really good feedback from that. And we're moving into a new series here starting tomorrow. This is really exciting. So hosted by ViViV and myself, we're starting an 8-week series on summoning a Discord bot army. So we're kicking this off tomorrow in the labs. That's 8 a.m. PST, 5 p.m. Central European time. So be sure to hop in for the kickoff event. That's going to be really exciting tomorrow. Also, really exciting news with the proposal inverter. We are ready. We've structured the proposal. We have a latest iteration on the forum under the advice process tags. This was posted by Taz, who's been working on the proposal inverter project for a few months now, along with the team there. And he's been doing a lot of the technical writing. So he's gone ahead and put together this core unified proposal that is serving as what we call the dog food model. So we're using the proposal inverter mechanism to fund the development of the proposal inverter itself. And Taz really took his time with this proposal. It's extremely comprehensive. It goes into the background, the mechanism, an overview of the purpose of the proposal inverter, some details on the mechanism, including the terminology and parameters, and then all the contributors that are coming together on this: Longtail Financial, Prime DAO, Token Engineering Commons, Gitcoin, Radical Drips, and potentially more. But these are sort of all the soft commits that we have from different DAOs collaborating on this. Our stretch goal with full funding from all these DAOs is $420,000. So that's a very serious budget for a very serious project. We're really excited about that. And we're going to come to the TEC with a proposal of $30,000 to kick this off. So that should be going live any day now. And there was one thing I wanted to point in here. There we have also a table of useful documents, so additional resources. And you'll find here the TEC Contributors Guide. This is really an awesome document. For some reason, it's not opening right now, but this is put together by Mitch and a few others. Nuggin also collaborated on this. So if you're coming through the TEC and you want to know how to get involved with the proposal inverter project, you can be a broker on the project. You'll want to find this document. And of course, always feel free to reach out for more information. So that's really exciting. The TE Fundamentals course, of course, super exciting. Pre-registration is open. Definitely check that out. And then Token Engineering office hours in the Longtail Financial Discord, Tuesdays, Thursdays at noon Pacific time, and Block Science hosts open office hours Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And you can see all the above in the TEC Labs calendar. And so with that, thanks everyone, and I'll hand over to Chewy with communications.
Thanks, YGG. Well, in communications right now, we meet every Monday. We have a bunch of meetings for the different teams that are units that are working in different aspects of communications for token engineering, not only from the TEC, but also projects like the Token Engineering Academy. So we have all of these things on Mondays, and also on Tuesdays, we have a general sync providing updates for everything that's going on in communications. So some of our last updates is our first 2 funding proposals for teams are up. If you have TEC tokens and you want to support us, it would be much appreciated. You can visit the TEC Garden. And some of the updates that these teams have been working around is the Token Engineering Academy team is working on preparing Token Engineering Fundamentals campaign for the bachelors that they're going to offer in Q3 of this year. So we are supporting that with communication services. We, in the animation and video production team, we are preparing reward systems quantification process tutorial to make it easier for contributors to be part of the process in a much easier explainer. In the HubSpot team, we are working in different newsletters. The translations team is moving on with different translations of our documentation to 4 primary languages, and after that, we'll have a second round of translations to be just like more inclusive with different people from all over the world. And our Twitter planning team is also having a weekly sync on Mondays where we pretty much take care of planning what needs to be pushed for that week. So on a side note, the next real life sightning of the TEC will be tomorrow in the Taoist Mexico City. So if you're close to Mexico City, please make sure you drop by to say hi. And we'll just have a bunch of different activities this weekend. So it's exciting. It's exciting to have the TEC home, to have the Give It family home. If you want to join us, please hit us up. And with that, I'll pass it to Septimus in transparency.
Thank you, Chuy. Yeah, on transparency, we gather every Monday, 5 p.m. CET. Can you go to the next slide, Griff? Thank you. Actually, I want to remember everyone, these calls are being recorded, so make sure, check out the meetings protocol and terms and disclaimers. And I actually want to announce, we did our first payments for the working group, and we share in the forum, all the documentation to make it transparent. And then also, this week, we voted for the multi-sig, to be transparent. So we are going to trace the multi-sig holders from TEC funds, which right now, the document is already done, but we're just waiting. Some people want to change their address because they don't want it to be public. So, we're just waiting for that and then making this document transparent. But the vote already passed. And then actually I also wanted to mention next week after this call I would love to hold some space to start talking about the DAO to DAO partnerships. Actually, there have been many DAOs that reach out after I made a proposal on the Gnosis chain. But yeah, we need to discuss like how we want to approach those DAOs, so then we can make a deal with them. So yeah, if you like to talk about this topic, next week after this community call, hold some space and we can hang out and talk about that. And with that, I'll pass it to Griff for legal.
Man, I forgot I get to talk during these things. Yes, legal. Updates, not much updates. We have a call tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'll be at the Taoist, so I can't attend. I'm really hoping we can get some support on our terms and conditions for the conviction voting. It's the last step of our launch. We're going to add the conviction voting, basically the terms and conditions for people who are proposing and challenging proposals on conviction on our gardens. We want to make sure it's very clear that they understand the process and they had to agree to it before they engaged with the process. And so we're going to end up adding the results into our covenant. So if you want to have your piece, if you want to get your hands dirty with the TEC covenant and our own rules that we live by and that are enshrined on the blockchain, come to the call tomorrow. It's a really fun call. Ivy's a great host. It's at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or 4 p.m. if you're in Europe. I hope those times are right. Yeah, that's right. And with that, I'll pass it to Livia for Rewards Working Group.
Thanks.
And
Exciting.
I should say as much. I know you and Angela have a lot of things, but we want to give time for Wonka at the end as well.
I'll try to be really quick. So yeah, we have our first real quant on Monday. It's gonna start. There's no time. It's not in the calendar because it's async. So if you want to be a quantifier, click on that link. I'll post the link, but you can also find here is a channel called Quantifier Support, and you'll find all the information you need there to become a quantifier. It's going to be super fun. It's looking amazing, the dashboard. And everyone is welcome to quantify because we're going to be looking into the praise from July 12 onward from last year. So it's a lot of praise. And together with that, we're going to run SourceCred from the 25th onward. So all the contributions that happened even before we had SourceCred totally set up are going to be captured because we got the params working. Ben's from the core team of SourceCred joined us this week, and he helped us set up something that makes sense. So we're going to have every week grain being distributed. And every week grain is going to be distributed, and every 2 weeks we're going to quantify praise. So we're going to have everything like very dynamic, all the rewards being streamed. And there is an official kickoff in about 2 weeks for the whole reward system. And we're going to give more information about that soon. We just need to prepare a little onboarding to have the bot that Vivavi set up and running. I mean, it's already running, but we need to explain a few things of this new system, how it works. And also the Token Engineering Academy plus Governance Research Group that was just wrapped up. We're going to have some sharings about the results up and coming. This week, there was a lot of people sick from Eat Denver, but we'll have that happening very soon. And yeah, with that, I can pass it to Angela.
Yeah, thanks, Livy. Some news from TE Academy, and thanks for having me. I'm Angela. Here's my contact in case you'd like to ping me. This is my Discord contact, and thanks. And I'd like to share T Fundamentals, of course, the comprehensive education certification program for token engineering. You can find all details about this program at tokenengineering.org. It will be available in Q3 22. But of course, you can sign up now and get invites to study groups. some news here on the content as well. So there's an AMA session recorded at our YouTube channel. And again, you can find a lot of links at tokenengineering.org. And we've expanded due to the wave of super exciting developments in the DAO space. We've expanded our content that will include about token-based governance. And Jessica Sottler is on board to create and digest the content for that. So even more valuable TE fundamentals course up and coming. And since this is live only in Q3, we are rolling out programs for everyone interested to get ready for TE fundamentals. And the first series of events is Token Engineering 360, starts on March 16th, 1 p.m. UTC. We are coming together every Wednesday. So you can join all sessions, you can join 1 or 2 sessions, whatever you like. And here, this is about sharpening your understanding, power of incentives, building economic systems, decentralization and permissionless systems, governance is capital, question mark, and engineering ethics. So it will be exciting. Yeah, spread the word. We are looking forward to great conversations and discussions we'll have every Wednesday. And on a side note, if you'd like to get active, we are looking for peer-to-peer learning hosts. Ping me, again, AKRTWS, on Discord if you're interested to come on board as a host. That's it from TE Academy. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Angela. And guess what? Crazy news! Our spotlight is back. We actually are going to use the spotlight to highlight projects that are requesting funds in the gardens. So, of course, Wonka, Gravity is requesting funds, and maybe you can give us a quick download on what you want to do with Gravity.
Juan, you're muted.
Juanca, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, I am sharing my screen, and this is the roadmap that we have decided for Gravity. We are starting right now in the first quarter of 2022 with the funding proposal by the TC, and we will focus on content creation, business development. We are having practice groups, role plays, and book clubs. In April, that will be the second quarter of 2022. We want to continue researching and iteration of proposals with new DAOs, because we don't want the TC to be our only user of our framework and tools. Rather, we want to expand to the whole ecosystem, and we will be having the certification program, that is the Graviton training with role plays and POAPs. And we want to have continued education then after the Graviton training, and we will try to integrate encrypted agreements through the development and integration of Unbreakable Vows. That is a tool that is being developed by OneHive to make private agreements in the blockchain, and to have new DAOs using our tools and frameworks. And we will then have the Graviton training starting again in October. I want to share also some of the things that we have been doing these last weeks. Bianca prepared this amazing presentation about implementing psychology in Web3 space, and how can we identify depression, anxiety, and stress, and also thinking on how can be on what can be possible solutions, like also as the same thing that we have Gravitons available for conflict, also having people available just to chat with them and talk about personal things. And we are also having these practice groups on Tuesdays that are really, really cool with Lynn and Jeremy. And we were talking about what makes you feel unsafe in an online environment. We were drawing and understanding what is the waterline of our consciousness and the topics that we like to manage. And we were also drawing our emotions and testing different tools for facilitation. So we are not only working in the side of conflict management, but we are also working a lot in the side of prevention and building culture and building trust and building competence. So yeah, if you want to support us, we have our proposal in the gardens, and we will continue working with the same motivation that we have worked until now. And that's my time.
Thank you so much, Juan. I mean, the Token Engineering Commons is an amazing place where, as opposed to donating to something, well, you can, of course, donate to Gravity on Gitcoin and hopefully on Giveth sometime soon. But you don't have to. You can actually buy TEC tokens and then use them to vote for Gravity's proposal. This is a new feature in public goods funding. So try it out. You can vote. Definitely check out Wonka's proposal. He's just 51,000 TEC tokens short of making this a pass. So go out there, and if you feel like Gravity is something that will make the token engineering space a better place, support them. And thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you staying 1 minute over so I could spill and shill. And thank you all. It was great, and we'll see you next week.